Welcome to Enigma of the Unknown, where we reveal hidden stories and paranormal mysteries from history. Today, we're diving into an eerie tale that few know about, the haunting of a presidential election room. As the heart of democracy, election rooms are places of high stakes and pivotal decisions. But what happens when the spirit of someone who once held power refuses to leave? In this episode, we're uncovering the true story of a ghostly presence in a presidential election room. A story that has left witnesses in shock and continues to mystify historians. Sit back and prepare to enter a world where history and the supernatural intertwine. The small town of Greenville lay hidden among rolling green hills, where time seemed to move more slowly than in the world beyond. Quaint 19th century homes, cobblestone streets winding past small shops, all combined to paint a picture of peace and serenity. But beneath the surface, secrets lay buried, waiting to be revealed. With only 1 week remaining until the most significant election in Greenville's history, preparations were underway. The polling station had been set up in the oldest building in town. Once a courthouse dating back to the 1800s, this imposing structure, with its towering stone walls, arched windows, and shadowy corridors, had a reputation. Most locals avoided it at night, but for Anna Tran, it was just her new workplace and a unique challenge. Anna, the 28-year-old with long black hair and bright eyes, had recently moved to Greenville. She'd taken a job with the election committee, hoping to make a positive impact on the community. Alongside her was her friend Emily, a cheerful yet sensitive 27-year-old with a knack for the supernatural. "Are you sure you want to work here, Anna?" Emily asked nervously as they entered the old building. "Why not? It's a great chance for us to contribute to a fair election," Anna replied with a smile. "But this building, I've heard strange things happen here." "Don't worry, it's probably just rumors," Anna assured her, though she felt a chill looking up at the cold stone walls. They soon met Mr. Harper, the election manager, a 55-year-old man with a stern face, graying hair, and sharp eyes. "Welcome to the team," he said curtly. "We have a lot of work ahead of us, so let's focus and not be distracted by minor matters." "Yes, sir," Anna replied, noting the chilly tone in his voice. Right from the first day, odd things began to happen. As Anna set up her computer, the screen suddenly flickered and then went black. She checked the cords, but everything seemed normal. "That's strange," she muttered. "My computer is acting up too," Emily said from the desk beside her. "It keeps restarting, and the data I entered just disappeared. Maybe there's a technical glitch. I'll call the IT department," Anna suggested. However, when the technician arrived, they found no issues. "Everything's running fine," they said with a shrug. That evening, after everyone else had left, Anna decided to stay late to finish her work. The building was eerily quiet, the only sound being the tapping of her keyboard. Suddenly, she heard a faint whisper, as if someone were speaking nearby. "Hello? Is someone there?" Anna called out, but there was no response. She stood up and stepped into the hallway. The dim lights cast eerie shadows on the walls. She heard footsteps echoing from afar, but as she followed the sound, the corridor remained empty. "Is anyone here?" she asked again, feeling a chill run down her spine. Only silence answered her. The next day, Anna recounted her experience to Emily. "See, I told you, there's something strange about this place," Emily said, eyes wide with worry. "Maybe I just imagined it after working too long." Anna tried to convince herself. "No, really. I've heard that people say this building is haunted. They talk about restless spirits." "Emily, don't scare me. We have work to do." But the eerie occurrences didn't stop. The temperature in the office would suddenly drop, making Anna reach for her sweater even on sunny days. Once, while she was organizing files in the storage room, a cold draft blew through, scattering a stack of papers. "Maybe a window is open," she thought, but when she checked, the window was securely shut. Whispering continued, sometimes light laughter, at other times faint sobbing. Anna began to lose sleep, haunted by hazy images in her dreams, waking in the middle of the night drenched in cold sweat. "Anna, you don't look well," Emily remarked. "Is something wrong?" "I'm not sure. I feel like someone is always watching me. We should report this to Mr. Harper. Maybe there's been a break-in. He won't believe me, and I don't want to cause trouble." Determined to investigate on her own, Anna began exploring the building after hours. She discovered a locked room in the basement and, curiosity piqued, found a way to open it and stepped inside. The room was dark, illuminated only by the faint beam of her flashlight. On a dusty old table, she found a leather-bound journal with yellowed pages. Opening it, she read handwritten entries dating back over a century. November 5th, 1890. "They have taken away our right to vote. This injustice cannot be tolerated." Anna's heart pounded as she continued reading. The journal contained the names of those who'd been disenfranchised, along with expressions of anger and frustration over the oppression they'd faced. "What happened here?" she whispered, feeling a mix of fear and sympathy. As she left the room, Anna heard footsteps behind her. Turning around, she saw a faint figure at the end of the hallway, dressed in old-fashioned clothes. Pale-faced, with empty, hollow eyes, she tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips. The figure moved closer, whispering, "Justice! We need justice!" Anna backed away, heart racing. The figure vanished as quickly as it had appeared, leaving her trembling and confused. In the days that followed, Anna couldn't shake the image of the apparition she'd seen in the old building. Each time she closed her eyes, that pale face with hollow eyes would reappear, as though trying to convey a message from the past. She sensed something deeply wrong, a horrific secret lurking within the walls. The next morning, as she stepped into the office, Anna felt an unnatural chill. Although the sun shone brightly outside, the building seemed shrouded in a freezing fog. Emily was at her desk, looking visibly pale. "Emily, are you all right?" Anna asked with concern. "I had a strange dream last night," Emily whispered. "I was wandering through this building, but everything was dark. I heard someone calling my name, but I couldn't find my way out." Anna sat beside her, gripping her friend's hand. "I've also been experiencing odd things. We can't keep ignoring this." Before they could continue, Mr. Harper entered, his face as stern as ever. "Is there a reason for this whispering? We have a lot to finish before Election Day." "Sorry, sir. We were just discussing some technical issues," Anna replied, deciding to keep the eerie incidents to themselves. Throughout the day, the supernatural phenomena intensified. While organizing documents in the records room, Anna heard footsteps echo behind her. Turning around, she saw a faint figure, a man in 19th century attire, standing silently, watching her. "Justice, we need justice," came the whisper, clearer than ever. Anna took a step back, her heart pounding. "Who are you? What do you want?" she stammered. The figure didn't respond, only raising a hand to gesture toward the old notebook she had found previously. Then, as suddenly as he appeared, he faded into thin air. Anna hurried back to her desk and searched for the notebook. When she opened it, she noticed several pages she hadn't seen before. They held pleas for justice and listed the names of people unjustly stripped of their voting rights. "Emily, you need to see this," Anna called out. Emily approached, her eyes widening as she scanned the notebook. "This is terrifying. How did these pages appear? It's clear that someone or something wants us to know the truth." That evening, after everyone had left, Anna and Emily decided to stay behind to investigate further. They sat together in the dimly lit office, poring over the aged documents. "What should we do?" Emily whispered. "We need to figure out what happened here and why these spirits can't rest," Anna replied. Suddenly, the sound of faint sobbing echoed down the hall. The two friends exchanged glances before deciding to follow it. The corridor stretched long and dark, illuminated only by faint, flickering lights. The sobbing led them to the old courtroom, a large room with rows of wooden benches and a high judge's bench. As they entered, they saw a woman in a long, vintage dress sitting in the front row, her head bowed. "Ma'am, do you need help?" Anna asked bravely. The woman looked up, revealing a ghostly pale face and tear-filled eyes. "They took our voices. We cannot rest until justice is served." Emily squeezed Anna's hand tightly, struggling to keep from crying out. "What can we do to help you?" Anna asked, trying to stay calm. "Remember us. Do not let us be forgotten." With that, the woman disappeared, leaving a faint mist in her place. The next day, the disturbances became even more pronounced. Electronics in the building malfunctioned. The printer spat out blank sheets with the phrase, "Justice for the Forgotten," typed across them. Files on desks were shuffled, and documents mysteriously disappeared. Staff began to whisper about the strange occurrences, spreading anxiety throughout the office. Mr. Harper called everyone to a meeting. "I don't want to hear any more nonsense about these so-called strange phenomena. We're at a critical time, and I expect you all to stay focused. But, sir, there are genuinely unsettling things happening." One employee protested. "That's enough. Anyone unwilling to work can leave now," he snapped. That evening, Anna went to the town library to learn more about the building's history. She met Mr. Daniel Lee, an 80-year-old local historian. "When you mentioned the events in the old building, I wasn't surprised," Mr. Lee said, his gaze somber. "You know what happened there?" Anna asked, hope flickering in her eyes. "In 1890, there was a fraudulent election held there. Many people, particularly women and minorities, were denied their right to vote. A woman named Elizabeth stood up to fight this injustice, but she and others were disappeared." "Disappeared? What do you mean?" "No one knows where they went. Some say they were killed and buried on the grounds." Anna felt a chill. "Is there any way to help them find peace?" "You must remember them. Bring the truth to light. Only by honoring their memory can they rest." When Anna returned to the building, she shared what she'd learned with Emily. "We have to do something," Emily said, her eyes determined. "Yes, we need to hold a memorial, acknowledge the wrongs of the past." The cold winds began to blow harder as Anna and Emily delved deeper into uncovering the old building's dark secrets. The Greenville sky was covered with dark clouds, signaling an impending storm. The atmosphere felt heavy, as if spirits were waiting for their release. Anna clutched the old notebook she had found in the archives. The words were faded by time, yet the cries for help from the past remained clear. "We have to uncover the truth," she said resolutely. "But where do we start?" Emily asked, glancing around uneasily. "I feel like someone's watching us. Mr. Daniel Lee can help. He knows so much about this town's history," Anna suggested. They sought out Mr. Lee, who lived in a small house at the end of a tree-lined path. He greeted them with a kind smile, but his eyes held a hint of worry. "I knew you'd come," he said, inviting them inside. "The spirits have waited too long. Can you tell us about Elizabeth and what happened?" Anna asked, her voice filled with hope. Mr. Lee sighed, staring into the fireplace as if searching his memories. "Elizabeth was a brave woman. She led the movement demanding voting rights for women and minorities in 1890, but those in power wouldn't allow it." "What happened to her and the others?" Emily whispered. "They were detained in the very building where you work. One dark night, they mysteriously vanished. Rumors say they were murdered and buried beneath the building." Anna felt a chill run down her spine. "So the curse is real?" "Yes," Mr. Lee nodded. "Their spirits can't rest until justice is served." Back at the building, Anna and Emily decided to explore a hidden basement they had never known about. Following old blueprints that Mr. Lee provided, they found a door concealed behind a dusty curtain at the end of the hall. "Are you sure about this?" Emily asked, her voice trembling. "We don't have a choice," Anna replied, pushing open the door. Inside was a stone staircase leading down. The dim light from their flashlights illuminated damp, moss-covered walls. The air was thick, carrying the scent of forgotten history. As they descended, whispers grew louder, clearer than ever. Justice, we need justice. At the bottom of the stairs, they entered a vast room. Faded markings and bloodstains smeared the walls, and faint footprints and drag marks covered the floor. Oh my God, this is where they were held. Emily gasped, tears filling her eyes. Suddenly, the door behind them slammed shut, making them jump. Their flashlights flickered and died, plunging them into darkness. Anna, where are you? Emily cried out in panic. I'm here. Don't worry, Anna said, grabbing her friend's hand to keep calm. A dim light began to form in the center of the room. Elizabeth appeared, her face delicate yet filled with sorrow. You've come, she said, her voice echoing. Elizabeth, we want to help you, Anna said, locking eyes with the spirit. We were betrayed, forgotten. Justice was never served. We'll bring the truth to light. Please, tell us what we must do. Anna pleaded. Suddenly, other spirits appeared around them. Their faces showed pain and anger, and their cries shook the room. You are mere mortals. You cannot change the past. One spirit said, his voice full of resentment. But we can change the future, Emily shouted, tears streaming down her face. We promise you won't be forgotten. The spirits paused, gazing at the two girls. Slowly, their expressions softened, and the resentment faded into hope. We need to be remembered, Elizabeth said. Tell our story to the world. Anna and Emily decided to organize a memorial service. They persuaded Mr. Harper and the other staff to join them. First, Mr. Harper was skeptical, but after hearing the horrifying truth and witnessing the strange occurrences, he couldn't deny it. We have to do the right thing, he admitted, his face heavy with guilt. They prepared candles, flowers, and nameplates for those who had been forgotten. The ceremony took place in the old courtroom, where, more than a century ago, these injustices had unfolded. Anna stood up, her voice resonating in the quiet room. Today, we gather to remember and honor those who fought for justice and equality. We apologize for letting them be forgotten. We vow never to let history repeat itself. Everyone bowed their heads, and the flickering candles cast a warm glow on their faces. A gentle breeze swept through, carrying the scent of flowers and a sense of peace. Suddenly, the spirits appeared for the last time, but now they no longer bore the marks of suffering. Elizabeth stepped forward, a soft smile on her face. Thank you. At last, we can rest. A blinding light filled the room, causing everyone to shield their eyes. When the light faded, the spirits were gone, leaving behind an overwhelming sense of tranquility. The next day, the building felt reborn. The temperature returned to normal, and there were no more whispers or strange occurrences. Everyone worked with renewed energy, sensing a positive change. The election proceeded smoothly. Townspeople turned out in high numbers, and an atmosphere of respect and harmony filled the town. The election results were transparent and widely accepted. Anna and Emily stood outside the building, gazing up at the bright blue sky. We did it, Emily said, taking Anna's hand. Yes, and this is just the beginning. We need to keep working to ensure justice and equality for everyone. Anna replied, her smile radiant. After the memorial service, Anna and Emily hoped that the spirits had been freed. However, the strange occurrences didn't end. In fact, they became even more dangerous. The skies over Greenville grew darker, with icy winds sweeping through the streets, spreading a sense of unease throughout the town. In the old building, the atmosphere felt heavier than ever. Mr. Harper called an emergency meeting with all staff. We're facing a serious issue, he said, tension in his voice. The electronic equipment keeps malfunctioning, and several employees have been injured in unexplained accidents. Sir, it could be that the spirits aren't completely at peace, Anna said, concern in her eyes. "We've already done what you suggested, Anna, but things are only getting worse. I can't let superstitions interfere with this election," Mr. Harper replied, his face strained. Meanwhile, the supernatural disturbances became physically intense. While Anna and Emily were working, the chandelier above them shook violently before crashing down, nearly hitting them. The two girls ran from the room, hearts racing. "We can't keep going like this," Emily panted. "What's happening to us?" Windows along the hallway flew open, and cold wind swept in, carrying a chilling whisper filled with resentment. "You promised justice, yet it remains unfulfilled." Desks and chairs in the office began to move on their own, blocking every exit. Several employees screamed in terror as files and documents floated through the air. "We need to get out of here now," one terrified staff member shouted, eyes wide with fear. Anna realized that the situation was spiraling out of control. She decided to seek out Mr. Daniel Lee once more. "I think we've done something wrong. The spirits are growing angrier," she said, her voice heavy with worry. Mr. Lee nodded thoughtfully, his expression solemn. "Perhaps the memorial wasn't enough. The spirits need to see true commitment from the community." "So what should we do?" Emily asked, eyes filled with hope. "You must find a way to bring the truth to light publicly, so that the entire community can recognize it and begin to change. Only then will the spirits find peace." Back at the building, Anna and Emily organized a town meeting, gathering all employees and local residents. They shared the dark history of the building and the injustices that had taken place. "We can't keep ignoring the past," Anna said, her voice resolute. "We have to face it and make things right." Some in the crowd looked skeptical, but many others began to understand and empathize. Mr. Harper, after witnessing the strange occurrences and hearing Anna's words, finally spoke up. "Anna's right. I was wrong to ignore the signs. We need to act immediately." He admitted, a genuine expression on his face, but the spirits had lost their patience. That night, a thick fog enveloped the building, and the lights inside flickered as if being swallowed. Laughter filled with madness and weeping echoed through the rooms, plunging everyone into fear. Anna, Emily, and a group of employees were trapped in the conference room as the door locked on its own, refusing to budge. The lights flickered and then went out, leaving them in complete darkness. "We need to stay calm," Anna tried to reassure everyone, though she was trembling herself. Suddenly, Elizabeth's ghost appeared in the center of the room, her face twisted in fury. "You broke your promise. Justice remains undone. We're trying. Please give us more time," Emily cried, tears streaming down her cheeks. "All you do is talk and never act. We will no longer rest," Elizabeth responded, her voice as cold as ice. Tables and chairs in the room began to shake, and objects flew through the air. Several people were injured as glass shattered, sending shards flying like knives. Anna knew there was only one way to end this nightmare. "Elizabeth, listen to me," she shouted, stepping forward. The spirit turned, her red eyes fixed on Anna. "What do you have to say?" "We'll reveal the truth publicly, right now, in front of everyone. We'll commit to action, not just words." "Are you sure?" Elizabeth asked, her voice echoing from a place beyond. "Yes, I promise," Anna replied, her gaze unwavering. The door to the conference room swung open, and the fog began to dissipate. Everyone quickly escaped, but Anna and Emily stayed behind. "We need to do something immediately," Emily said, her voice urgent. "Yes, we'll hold a press conference and tell the whole community," Anna replied. The next day, in the town square, Anna and Emily stood before a crowd of townspeople and reporters. They shared the full story, from the dark history of the building to the supernatural events they had experienced. "We can't change the past, but we can correct the future," Anna said, her voice filled with emotion. "We're asking everyone to join us in building a community based on justice and respect for everyone's rights." Their words received overwhelming support from the community. An official investigation was launched to uncover the truth about past events. The old building was designated to be converted into a history museum to honor and remember those who fought for justice. That night, when Anna and Emily returned to the building one last time, they felt an unusual peace. There were no whispers, no strange occurrences. Elizabeth appeared once more, her face serene. "Thank you, at last. We can rest. We'll never forget you," Anna said, tears in her eyes. "And we will always be with you, in the hearts of everyone." Elizabeth smiled, then vanished in a gentle glow. The skies over Greenville on election day were draped in dark clouds, as if concealing the lingering secrets. Anna and Emily knew this was their final chance to release the spirits and restore peace to the town. "We have to act now," Anna said firmly. "If we don't, it won't just be us, but the entire town that will suffer the consequences." Emily nodded. "But will people believe us? After everything that's happened, we have to try. We have to trust in the power of truth, determined to free the spirits." Anna and Emily decided to hold a public memorial service right in the town square. They convinced Mr. Harper and the other staff to participate. "This might be our only way to end all of this," Anna told Mr. Harper, who listened thoughtfully. He looked into her sincere eyes and sighed. "All right, I'll support you both. We have no other choice." News of the service quickly spread throughout the town. Many were curious, some skeptical, but most sensed the importance of the event. That evening, the town square was lit up by hundreds of flickering candles. A large crowd gathered, forming a circle around the podium. On the stage stood Anna, Emily, and Mr. Harper, solemnly accompanied by a faded photograph of Elizabeth and those who had been lost. Anna stepped forward, her voice echoing in the still night. "Today, we gather here to remember and honor those who fought for justice and rights, but were forgotten in the tides of history." She opened the old journal, reading aloud each name. Every name resonated like a call from the past, touching the hearts of everyone present. "We apologize for the wrongs of the past," Emily continued, her voice choked with emotion. "We promise to uphold justice and transparency in this election and in all our actions." Mr. Harper stepped forward, his face resolute. "As the director, I accept responsibility for ignoring the signs and the warnings. From now on, we commit to listening to and respecting every voice." Suddenly, a gentle breeze swept through, causing the candles to flicker and then glow brightly. The sky cleared as the dark clouds parted, revealing a full moon casting silver light over the square. The spirits began to appear, faintly visible in the moonlight. The townspeople drew back in fear, but Anna raised her hand. "Don't be afraid. They're here to witness." Elizabeth stepped forward, her face gentle yet her eyes filled with sadness. "We have heard you," she said, her voice soft as the breeze. "Thank you for remembering us." Anna stepped down from the podium, approaching Elizabeth. "We will never forget you. Your story will be told, so these mistakes are never repeated." Elizabeth smiled, her eyes shimmering with tears in the moonlight. "At last, we can rest." A brilliant light enveloped the square, and everyone shielded their eyes. When it faded, the spirits were gone, leaving behind a sense of peace that settled over the town. The next day, the election went smoothly. The townspeople turned out in droves, and a spirit of harmony and respect filled the air. The machines worked flawlessly, with no strange malfunctions. The election results were transparent, and everyone celebrated the fair outcome. Anna and Emily stood in front of the old building, now adorned with paintings and banners celebrating justice and voting rights. "We did it," Emily said, her face glowing with happiness. "Yes, this is the result of unity and determination," Anna replied, her eyes filled with hope. Mr. Harper approached, looking more relaxed than ever. "I want to thank you both. Because of you, I've come to understand so much." We've all learned valuable lessons. Anna smiled. From then on, the old building ceased to have any strange occurrences. It became a symbol of justice and hope for the entire town. A small museum was established inside, displaying documents and artifacts related to the history of voting rights and the struggle of Elizabeth and her companions. The people of Greenville frequently held community events there, reminding one another of the importance of respecting everyone's rights and facing the past to build a better future. One evening, as the sunset cast a warm glow over the town, Anna and Emily sat on the building steps, watching people pass by. "Do you think the spirits have truly found peace?" Emily asked, her gaze distant. "I believe so," Anna replied, "but we have to keep doing our work to ensure that what happened will never happen again." Emily nodded, her eyes thoughtful. "Sometimes, I feel like they're still here, watching over us. Not to haunt, but to protect and guide." Anna smiled. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying the scent of wildflowers. For a fleeting moment, they thought they heard the soft laughter of Elizabeth and her companions, lingering peacefully in the air. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of America's strangest and most haunting election tales. This story reminds us that even in places devoted to reason and decision-making, the past and those who lived it may never fully rest. If this tale of a ghostly election intrigued you, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more mysteries from Enigma of the Unknown. Until next time, remember, sometimes history has its own way of making itself heard. Sweet dreams, and may your own decisions be free of ghostly interruptions.